Buehler's return and his first major league start. Out of the hood, into the spotlight here at Dodger Stadium for the 23-year-old, and we welcome you inside. Joe Davis, Nomar Garciaparra, Alana Rizzo joins us in a moment. So we had the debut last September with the 8 relief appearances, but this is the moment that a lot of Dodger fans and certainly Walker have been waiting for.
Well, there's electricity in the air. That's because Walker Buehler has electric stuff. He comes at you with an average 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Obviously, his first big league start, so there's going to be some nerves he's going to have to deal with. But at the same time, I think he's going to be just fine because of not only his call-up last year, but also having a big league spring training.
For more on Buehler, we go down to Alana.
All right, guys, thanks very much. A lot of anticipation as the #1 pitching prospect in the Dodgers organization gets his first Major League Baseball start. You guys were already talking about the electric fastball, but it's not just the fastball. Dave Roberts very complimentary of Walker Buehler's entire pitch mix, but perhaps an intangible is what his teammates have been telling me, that this guy has a confidence and air about him that certainly will help him as he makes that Major League start.
Okay, Alana, and he makes it against another young guy who very quietly is off to a great start for Miami, and Harlan Garcia.
Well, Harlan Garcia was in the bullpen for Miami last year, started this year in the bullpen, but has had 2 starts this year. What has he done in those 2 starts? He's only given up 1 hit. His first outing went 6 innings of no hit, gave up a hit in his last outing. The Dodgers are going to have to figure him out.
So against the 2 New York teams, a couple of pretty good lineups that he shut down. Walker Buehler's first Major League start on a gorgeous night from Dodger Stadium. Coming up in just a few. Here he comes, the man of the hour, Walker Buehler, ready to make his first major league start tonight against the Miami Marlins in the first of 3 between these teams. First matchup of 6 between the teams over the course of this regular season. Here's the lineup that'll face off with, brought to you by 76, and they have really struggled. A little more than 3 runs per game. That's 4th worst in baseball. Rojas, a former Dodger, leads it off. Then Real Muto. Starlin Castro's having a good season for him. Brian Anderson's a rookie. So is Lewis Brinson. Yadiel Rivera over from the Brewers. And Harlan Garcia pitches and bats 9. Still just 23. Native of Lexington, Kentucky, who made those 8 appearances out of the bullpen last year, but here he is taking the ball for the first inning for the first time.
Well, last year, you know, his ERA was a 7.71, but that's just getting a September call-up. Let's not forget he gave up a couple home runs, one being a grand slam. But you turn the page, a whole new year. Had a good year down there in AAA, and here we are, first big league start at Dodger Stadium.
Got all kinds of family and friends here to watch. That is his father, Tony, his stepmom, Lucy, his sister, friends, other relatives are scattered throughout the ballpark. Hard to, on short notice, get too many seats that close, but they get dad and stepmom right there in the second row to get an up close and personal look at his first major league start. Dodgers have won 6 of 7 after that 4-9 start, coming and playing good baseball. And off we go with a fastball at 98 for ball 1. The Marlins, meanwhile, have dropped 4 in a row. They got swept by the Brewers over the weekend. They've lost 7 of 8 overall and have the second worst record in the NL. That's punched on the ground. Austin Barnes making the start at second tonight and quickly 1 out.
Catcher number 11, JT Realmuto.
So the first 2 pitches, I'm going, oh, just getting warmed up at 98, just getting loose. Must be nice.
Here's Real Muto, and it's a fastball that a year ago in that limited big league opportunity, a guy hit around pretty good. The league hit .348 against his fastball, and for Walker, he even admitted that it was a bit of a wake-up call. He knew the hitters here were good, but he found out the hard way how good. Strike 1 on Real Muto.
Yeah, it's not just being able to throw it by big league hitters. You know you're going to have to command. You're going to have to hit those corners. You know you're going to have to mix up your off-speed pitches, because they'll be able to time anything.
Time a bullet, right? Big
That's
league
it.
hitter.
Time a bullet. What velocity allows you to do, it allows you to maybe get away with some mistakes a little bit more than if you don't have that velocity, but you can't get away with them too often.
Snaps the slider off. First one that he throws to get ahead of Real Muto, 1-2.
Well, he comes out with you with 3 pitches. We always talked about fastball averaging 98 miles an hour. He's got a slider and he's got a curveball.
Fastball, punch down the right field line. It's peeling, just foul. Well, it looked like it may be kicked up chalk, but first umpire Mark Ripperger says foul, and it stays at 1-2.
That was close, and he got in on Real Muto. And when you come into a game and you're batting .417, those usually fall in for you just like that, as we have a closer look. And that was just foul.
Ripperger was right on it.
The umpires are waiting to see if they want to challenge. And I don't think the Marlins are going to challenge. Looks like they are.
Wow. So you see some dirt on the chalk, but I think that's because it kicked up on it.
Right. It looks like there's some space between the chalk and where the ball hits and lands, and like you said, the picture we showed after that, you can see the dirt bouncing onto the chalk. It's interesting that they'd actually want to challenge there right now.
A lot of times you'll see challenges happen and you look at it and you say, well, it'd be hard to overturn it either way.
Right.
You know, depending on what the call on the field was. This seems like one where it's pretty obvious it's going to stand or be confirmed. Joe West, crew chief.
It's interesting because you saw that ball and you got Yasiel Puig going after that one. And they can decide, let's say they were to overturn this, which I don't think they are, but then the umpires decide what base he's going to be on, whether he's going to be at first or whether he's going to second, right? Now, and then I would come out and argue, well, wait, if Yasiel Puig, he might have thrown him out at second, right? You can't give him second base.
Right, umpire's jurisdictions. He says he tried to turn it into a double and was thrown out,
yeah,
so
exactly.
he's out. It's not a foul ball, he's out. That's great. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Real Muto back in there. And the rookie fires again with a slider that's banged into left for a base hit.
Well, we mentioned it. Real Muto has been the Marlins' best hitter all year long. And there's the slider you saw where Yasmani Grandal was set up. He wanted that on the outer half. That was just right down the middle. And he squared it up. He hit that hard.
That brings up Starlin Castro. A 298 average, the best on the Marlins for the guys that have been around the whole year. First year in a Marlins uniform. He was the return in the Giancarlo Stanton deal. That's a strike. And of course, that's not a straight up thing. The Marlins really wanted to shed Stanton's salary. They took Castro's salary on, but they also got rid of the Gordon to Seattle. Marcell Ozuna's a Cardinal now. Christian Yelich they just saw in Milwaukee. They went from having one of the best outfields in baseball, and by some measures the best, to one of the least productive outfields in the game. Two balls and a strike on Castro. It's of course after Jeffrey Loria has sold the team. Derek Jeter, part of the group that bought the Marlins. This is after 8 consecutive losing seasons. And now the old Dodger manager Don Mattingly, you kind of feel for him. He's got to deal with the roster that's been put in his hand. And they're at first and second.
Another breaking ball that they were able to put in play. This one wasn't hit as hard. This one just happens to find the hole. It's just unlucky for Walker Buehler because he's looking for that ground ball for a potential double play. And if that was either hit to the shortstop or third baseman, that would have been.
Rookie against rookie matchup here. Brian Anderson, who's the opening day third baseman for Miami because of Martin Prado's injury. Prado's still out. First pitch fastball, foul back. Boy, you're already looking at a torn down roster, rebuilding roster, but then you have some key guys that are on the DL. Mentioned Prado, JT Riddle, their normal shortstop, had off-season shoulder surgery, still isn't back from that. It is kind of a hodgepodge bunch that he has to work with right now. Grounded foul, and it's 0-2.
Right there we saw a curveball by Walker Buehler, and last year it was the curveball that was one of his most effective pitches when he got called up. This fastball got hit, and he touched on how he recognized that he's got to do something a little bit different than just think he's going to overpower these hitters. But also his slider, and we've seen that. Slider gotten hit twice already in this inning. That curveball has been one that he, fastball and curveball, what he goes to put you away.
This is 0-2. Anderson with a late swing on 100 mile per hour fastball. Actually touched 100 on his second pitch in the big leagues last year. Debuted on September 7th against the Rockies. Carlos Gonzalez singled against him. First strikeout was against Charlie Blackmon. Lit up that radar gun on just his second pitch. 2 on with 1 out and an 0-2 in the dirt for ball 1.
Nice stop by Yasmani Grandal, and that's a good breaking ball right there. The one that you want to make sure you're 0-2. You don't want to hang it like he did to Realmuto. You want to make sure it's buried to see if you can get him swinging at it. Start it off in the strike zone. Puts a different thought in the hitter's mind and makes it that much harder when you're thinking about, well, he might come back to me back-to-back breaking balls to catch up to that 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Goes back to the fastball to ring him up at 99. First strikeout of the night for Buehler. 2 away in the first.
And that pitch didn't matter about velocity. That was just great placement right there on the corner. It looked like it had a nice little tail there to the end. It looked like a ball at first. Kind of caught the outside.
So 2 on with 2 out, and it's Cameron Maybin, who's made his way back to the Marlins here in his early 30s. First pitch curve for a strike.
It's the first hitter he's actually started off with a breaking ball. Every other one he started off with that fastball. Talked about his curveball. Kind of threw that in the dirt a couple of times. But that was a really good breaking ball. His slider, like we said, just hasn't found the zone with that slider early in this game. Those are what got hit.
Just misses with a fastball, 1-1. Is the luxury of having a veteran catcher back there tonight. Yasmani Grandal, who takes pride in being that guy. He's grown into that as his career has gone on. Said his advice to Walker tonight was just to try and enjoy it despite all the expectations. It's outside 2-1. And if you can, he was going to tell Walker, trust me for a couple innings and just kind of let me guide you through it. And as you start to feel what's working and what's not, then you can shake, then you can start to write your own script. But trust me early. First and second with 2 out, and a 2-1 is in the dirt and stopped by Grandal. 3 balls and a strike on Maybin.
When your catcher tells you to trust me, and then he's making stops like that, it makes it really easy to trust him even on the breaking balls.
Fastball is up, and they're loaded here in the first against Buehler.
Right fielder number 3, J.B. Shaw.
And here's J.B. Shuck. Now it's already 21 pitches for Buehler. Dave Roberts saying somewhere in the neighborhood of 90, which would be a career high for him. Most he's ever thrown as a pro is 86 in his final start last year at AAA. Blazes a fastball in for strike 1. It's easy to forget with all the hype around Buehler that last year was his very first full pro season. And Tommy John, right after they drafted him, came back for 3 games in 16. Last year, his first full year. He pitched 98 innings a year ago. And they won't put a hard number on it. No point in doing that, but they will monitor his innings as the year goes on. Trying to get out of a bases loaded jam here in the first inning. Misses with a fastball. I think get home plate umpire Marty Foster.
I don't know. Because if it did, Marty Foster really didn't flinch.
It was
That ball-
99.
Right. That's what I'm going. If it got just, you know what, Yasmani Grandal's glove slowed it down and hit Marty in the hand.
Okay.
Yeah. But it slowed it down. Yeah, because let me tell you, if that goes straight in his hand, we're going to have to get a new umpire because that's probably broken.
It's going to be more of a reaction
Yeah.
than that for
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly. This is what's interesting. We talked about his 2 put-away pitches, his curveball and his fastball. He's been throwing a lot of fastballs, but that breaking ball, does he trust it enough with a man on third base?
Yep. But it hit the ground, and Chuck just barely stays alive.
As Monty tried to play it off with everything he could, and it's a good call to definitely hit the ground.
New definition to framing. Marlins making Buehler work here in the first inning. 2 singles and a walk. Loaded up with 2 out. And another 1-2. He got it. Tailing fastball to 99 to get out of a first inning jam. And he can take a deep breath and settle into this one as the Dodgers come to bat for the first time in a scoreless game. Lineup presented by 76. Chris Taylor coming off a good series over the weekend. Then it's Kike Hernandez giving Corey Seager the day off. Kemp bats third. Bellinger the only left-handed hitter in the lineup. Now Yasmani Grandal bats fifth. Then Puig. Then Barnes and Farmer. Yes, that's all 3 catchers in one starting lineup tonight against Harlan Garcia, who's only 25 years old. Started this season in the bullpen and turned some heads when he had 6 shutout innings and extras against the Cubs in his season debut. And how about the 2 starts that he's made, Nomar? No hitter through 6 innings and was pulled against the Mets. 1 hit over 5 innings against the Yankees.
And overall, they say you see that opponent's batting average for the season, .091. Comes at you with a fastball, a sinker, a changeup, and a slider. Kind of has a crossfire action with his fastball. So for righties, he's going to really try to kind of slings it kind of out of a 3/4 delivery and come across. But he'll come in early, but eventually as the game goes on, he's really looking to stay away. And especially a righty, it's a fastball changeup to see if he can get weak contact on that changeup.
That's a strike, and it's 0-2. And him starting 0-2 is kind of a rare thing, because while nobody's been able to hit him, there have been some control issues with 11 walks so far this season. Down low, 1-2.
And there's that changeup. Yeah, and you talk about his first pitch strike percentage this year is only about 44%, which is the lowest in the major leagues. It'd be interesting to see the approach that the Dodgers have at least early, to see if he's able to really command that strike zone.
Misses high, 2-2. Yeah, so it's the guy that throws first pitch strikes at the lowest rate of anybody against the offense that hits for the highest average on the first pitch of any team. So how much do you tailor that approach? 2 balls, 2 strikes on Chris Taylor, starting the night for the Dodgers by working the count full.
For me, you don't change the aggressiveness on the first pitch, but what you do is what ball you're looking for, you even make that zone you're looking for a little bit smaller. You got to make sure that's the one that you can really do some damage on. Take everything else.
On a payoff, Taylor takes inside. What a tone-setting at bat for Taylor, who looks at all 6 pitches and winds up walking. And this offense trying to keep things rolling. Got off to a slow start. First couple of weeks of the year, they averaged 3.5 runs per game. That was in the bottom of baseball, but last 2 weeks, 5.5 runs per game, second best in the National League. And a lot of that has corresponded with them taking some more walks and passing the baton as Kike Hernandez comes up. Goes after the first pitch, and it's a fly ball off the end of the bat to Lewis Brinson.
I'll tell you, Chris Taylor's series against the Nationals, reaching base 7 times. This is not an easy pitch to take, especially after the first 2 strikes on you. To get 0-2, we're on the inner half.
Yeah.
And you're going, all right, well, that means you're really saying, I noticed they either caught the corner and that also the umpire is in sync, because that was barely off the corner and took that as if you knew that was ball 4, and it didn't miss by much. That was impressive.
1 on 1 out. Here's Kemp. He only made 1 start over the weekend. Go back to the San Diego series, though. The end of the Arizona series, Kemp has been hot. 382 over the last 2 weeks, and hadn't been some story, Nomar, to see how the narrative around Kemp has evolved from when they got him this offseason to where he is now, hitting 3rd.
Well, I think Dave Roberts has been really trying to figure out who can be hitting in that 3rd spot.
It's a lazy pop fly to right center field. Brinson again, 2 out.
The guys that have seemed to have most success in that spot right now has been Matt Kemp and Yasmani Grandal. 2 guys have had the highest batting average on this team. And then we were just talking about being aggressive on that first pitch right there. You're seeing 2 guys after a walk, a leadoff walk. You have the next 2 guys attack that first pitch. We're talking about how successful they are, but like I said, it's okay to be aggressive, but you have to make sure that's that ball you can really drive, because even if he doesn't have the command we're talking about, he might make a mistake in that spot. So you want to be ready.
Bellinger takes a strike. 2 first pitch swings after 4 consecutive balls. That bat to Taylor started at 0-2. Bellinger has a home run against Garcia. He's a reliever last year, made more appearances than anybody on the Marlins. Fouls it back, and it's 0-2. Started last year in Double-A. He was called up for his major league debut. ERA was around 5, so it wasn't a great season out of the pen. But man, has he come to life for what this year? Ball 1.
And when he's facing the lefties, he has a tendency to stay away on the lefties as well. We talked about especially over the course of the game, he'll try to stay away from hitters, but he tries to put them away with the slider. Doesn't throw too many changeups to lefties.
Stays away there. Ball 2. And the pitch mix And how he approaches left-handers and right-handers, it's almost identical to what he was doing out of the bullpen. It's just the velocity not close to what it was when he was coming in short bursts, but that's to be expected. Taylor takes off, and Bellinger hits a pop fly into right. And after the leadoff walk, 3 fly ball outs to bring this first inning to a close. Off and rolling. They get a nice view of Walker Buehler's first career Major League start.
Listen to details of what took place and then try to guess the year it happened. Here's Vin.
Second, we look at our Land Rover Performance Spotlight. The first round pick of the Dodgers a few years back out of Vanderbilt, where he was part of a College World Series team in 2014. Didn't make his pro debut, though, until a year after he was drafted, undergoing Tommy John surgery, August of 2015. And delivers one that's bunted by Lewis Brinson for strike 1.
Here's an inning. After your first inning, okay, we talked about the nerves, that first start. Maybe get that nerves out of the way. Had the bases loaded, gets out of it, but it was a 26-pitch inning. We already know Dave Roberts touched on it. He's looking around 90 possible. So now he's looking to see if he can have one of those quick innings and also low pitch inning, so he can try to go deeper into the game.
Marlins are excited about the guy at the plate here, like the Dodgers are excited about Buehler. Lewis Brinson, top prospect in their system. Buehler makes quick work of him with a couple of fastballs and then a slider to the inside corner for his 3rd K.
Well, we were talking earlier, it's been that curveball, goes to the curveball fastball predominantly for that put-away pitch, but here's the slider. But even the slider, it froze him, but it still wasn't exactly the spot that he wanted with that slider. So that one he's still trying to get the feel and command for it.
Yadiel Rivera starting today at short, attacking the first pitch and fouling it back. It's the slider, Nomar, that last year in his month in the majors was one of the hardest sliders in baseball. One of the highest spin rates on any slider. And one of the things that he worked on this spring was trying to slow it down some, make it a little bit bigger. Blazes a fastball in there at 98 for strike 2.
Well, it makes a lot of sense because you want to see if you can have a big break on that fastball. We already know he has velocity. And the other thing, too, is now you're also getting a greater discrepancy in velocity between that slider and his fastball.
Ties him up. He offered. Back-to-back Ks to open the second.
Pitcher number 16,
Just going right at him with that fastball up in the zone. Hard to lay off there because as a hitter, the ball has a tendency to look bigger coming in when it's getting closer to your eye level, and then you're already looking for 98 coming at you.
I mentioned the word spin rate on his slider. When you hear about a high spin rate fastball, that typically equates to a ball that looks like it's rising. Goes low here, and it's 1-1.
You know what I was hoping for right there?
What?
That immaculate inning right there.
Yeah.
He just missed it. Threw 7 strikes in a row. We're talking about having a quick inning.
With the pitcher up.
All right. Like, oh, here's your chance to do it. A quick inning and just strike out the side.
That's all he had to do.
I mean, come on.
Come on, Walker. 2 innings through your big league starting career, and you don't have a single immaculate inning yet. A 1-2.
Don't know where that was. Gonna have a look. If it missed, it didn't miss by much. Wow. I'll tell you, stay right there.
Garcia's saying, I don't mind that being called a strike, Blue. Now it's full. The mentor that'll be to have in Clayton Kershaw. Rick Honeycutt walks the opposing pitcher. Second free pass. And back to the top of the order.
Number 19, Miguel Rojas.
We jinxed them. It's our fault. We're talking about the immaculate inning, and then he walks him.
Came after a ball, though.
Yeah.
Rojas, the former Dodger, made his major league debut in a Dodger uniform. 29 years old now. 5th season in the Bigs, 4th year with the Marlins. Moment he'll always be remembered for in a Dodger uniform is one of his very first games. Made a no-hitter saving play on Kershaw's no-hitter. He's at third base, 7th inning of that game. Crossing the line behind the bag. He's ahead 2-0. Strike one.
Now this we were talking about earlier in this inning, where he was able to put the first 2 batters away, 3 strikes. You know, just be that mentality. You never want to give up an 0-2 hit as a pitcher. You want to, you know, they say, you know, waste 1, make sure you're not getting it close. But in today's age with pitch counts, you got to go after guys.
Yeah. On the corner, 2-2.
You know, that whole mentality, like 0-2, can't give up an 0-2 hit. You say, well, that's okay because you don't want to really waste any.
Especially when the limit is even below what it
Right.
normally is. You know, 105, 110 for a lot of guys. But again, looking at about 90 tonight for Buehler. Outside full count. He's almost halfway there with 2 out here in the second. Seven straight strikes to open the inning, but a walk to the pitcher Garcia, and now a 3-2 to Rojas. Seventh pitch of the AB, and Rojas stays alive. Still the record holder in the Lexington Little League for strikeouts. In one season, the young Walker Buehler had 140 in 62 innings. The bouncing ball here that will be gloved by Hernandez, and the old Marlin stands to his feet and throws Rojas out. Kike Hernandez, a spot started short tonight for Seager, and a gem to finish the inning.
Unbelievable. The way he stayed with this ball in that last bounce and showing off the athleticism to spin around and throw 98 to first base.
Second inning, huh?
This is picking up your pitcher as we look at the Carls cam. One is to range far to your left, then to throw your body at the ball. Wasn't like a just layout dive, but to throw the body and then get that last hop and then to spin around, pick up your first baseman and throw a strike over there after that unbelievable athletic play. Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't just one cool thing about it. Like some plays you see a guy make a great diving stop or show off an arm or do something like he did and pop up. He did it all.
I had to combine all of them.
It's Grandal to lead off the second for the Dodgers. Riding a career high 11-game hitting streak. And the top 5 in the National League in batting average at .349 so far this season. Started the rally last night with a 2-run double. That's the thing, it's been far from an empty or meaningless .349. Sometimes you see that number and you say, really? But no, he's made his hits count. Some big spots for this team. On a 2-0. He takes a strike. Inside corner, 2-2. Grandal is looking for something else. Takes strike 3 for the first out of the second.
Right fielder, number 60.
I think Grandal was still upset about the call, the second strike on him on the inner half, but it was a good pitch. Looked like it might have caught the corner, and then that changeup. When you recognize it, sometimes you think it's just going to fall out of the zone, and it stays right there.
So one away for Puig. But Turner Ward says is really close to taking off and getting very hot. And if there's anybody that knows Yasiel's swing close to as well as Yasiel, it's that man. I don't know, 1 pitch. It's at foul, strike 2. What have you seen from Yasiel Puig in the early going?
I'll tell you, I think Yasiel has been swinging the bat better than his .213 average is showing. I think he's been unlucky early part of this season. You know, he'll still roll over to the shortstop. He'll still get those ground balls, but he's done much better early in this season, staying inside, driving it to center field, going the other way. Yeah, a lot of times when that rollover, it's been a little bit because of his timing, but it's not so much of that rollover because of his mechanics. I think his mechanics have been a lot more consistent in the early part of the season.
Looks as strike 3, and that's a couple of Dodgers that have taken pitches that look pretty good for a strike. Puig upset with this one, letting Marty Foster know.
I'll tell you what, Marty does a good job right there, to be quite honest with you. I mean, Yasiel obviously talking to Marty Foster. He got his word in. So as he's talking, what Marty Foster does, we look at that, it looked like it caught the corner. But what Marty Foster did, he let Yasiel have his say, and Yasiel was still hanging around, and then he looked and he grabbed the balls from the ball boy just to kind of say, okay, I'm going to turn my head to let you know.
It's ball one on Barnes. This guy that's been umpiring for 30 years, back to the Denver Summer League in 1986. His first major league opportunity a decade after that. First off in the AL. Been a full-time major league umpire for the last 20 years. 1 ball, 1 strike on Barnes. No score in the second in the series opener between these teams. Barnes takes a strike 1 and 2. How do you feel about Austin socks?
I like him.
Yeah.
Actually, I've noticed some of the socks that the Dodgers have been sporting this year. Not only those, I love the Jackie Robinson ones.
Great.
Oh, those were nice. He had some on St. Patrick's Day over the spring, the green ones.
Those didn't go great with the Dodger jerseys, but these days socks don't have to match your outfit.
They made the point. No, they.
First start for Barnes in 8 days. Got to go back to Sunday against Arizona a little more than a week ago. Huge off of the bench yesterday, what he did with his base running. It's a chopper to short. Yadiel Rivera. Dodgers down in order in the second. On to the third. No score. is. Gotta get that's right. Gotta get your Dodger dog. Got it just how he
Let's
likes
go,
it.
Dodgers! Woo!
On a perfect night to be here. Temperature in the high 60s. Real Muto starts the inning by taking a strike from Buehler. Had a sharp base hit against him his first time and was stranded at third. And for Buehler, that's nothing personal. Real Muto's been doing that to everybody since he was activated after missing the first few weeks with a back injury. He averaged close to 500 over his first week. And he's now reached in all 17 games he's played against the Dodgers in. Climbs the ladder here to stay alive. And he's really one of the only noteworthy names left on this roster with the mass exodus of their star players. Justin Boers, the other face of the franchise type guy at this point for him. Real Muto, one of the best under the radar players in the National League right now. Oh-2. It rides back to him, and it backs up Hernandez at short for the first out. MLB At Bat is your #1 Dodger app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. You can get Dodger home screen icons and plenty more. Download MLB At Bat today. One away for Castro. Ninth major league season for the four-time All-Star. He looks at strike one. 6 years with the Cubs and 2 years with the Yankees. It's the third time really that Castro's been on the wrong part of the rebuild at the beginning of it. I mean, it's hard to call what the Yankees were doing a rebuild, but he was there kind of during the transition years, right as he saw Jeter step away, Teixeira, A-Rod, the younger guys come up. Of course, he was there in the lowest years with the Cubs, and now here he is in the lowest you can be with the Marlins. Bounces one back up the middle. Hernandez somehow gets to this one. He's done it again. Take a bow, Kike Hernandez. 2 out.
I'm sorry, I was in disbelief as that ball when he got, first of all, just getting to this once again, but almost the same way. And when he slid, you see his knee kind of get caught, and watch him kind of throw his body. Watch his knee right there. It gets caught, and as he's spinning around, that was more off balance than the other one. Wow.
Ball on Brian Anderson. He is some kind of athlete. And when you combine his athleticism with his personality and plays like that, how much fun is Kike Hernandez to watch? That's a strike, 1-1.
Well, what an asset that Dave Roberts has with someone like Kike as he just lunges. I mean, and not easy to be on target after that as your body is going to right field.
Off of the hands to third. That's where Kyle Farmer is playing. And a nice play by him to finish the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Marlins on just 11 pitches for Buehler. Get them back on track for the night. was dropping on those.
I mean, that was impressive. I mean, understanding, one, to get an unbelievable jump on those balls, but two, showing off the athleticism. When you're sliding on your knee and you know as your momentum's carrying you, after you make the play, what you got to do next in order to get a throw off of that and to be accurate with that throw and with velocity behind it. It was really impressive.
Kyle Farmer leading off this inning. No balls, 2 strikes. And what have you thought of Walker Buehler through a few innings?
Well, I'll tell you, early on, obviously trying to find the command. He's starting to feel into his own right now. I mean, I think that's really the key for him, is to have that command, not only just a fastball, but also his slider right now. Still looks like he's just trying to get a feel for that. But I tell you, I can see why they're so excited about him. I mean, it is electric coming out of his hand.
Well, Farmer getting his first at-bat in a while here, and offering for a strike 3. That's the 3rd K for Harlan Garcia on the first out of the 3rd inning.
Number 21, Walker Buehler.
In a night of first, here comes the first major league at-bat for Buehler. Strike 1 from Garcia.
What for Garcia? He's 13 innings pitched so far as a starter. He's only given up 1 hit.
Well, as you mentioned it, but 6 no-hit innings in his very first start this season. Don Mattingly pulled him at 77 pitches. Was still building that arm from having started in the bullpen. And then against the Yankees, 1 hit over 5 shutout innings in the Bronx. Although he did walk 7 in those 2 games. The Dodgers tonight just 1 walk, once through the order. 25 years old. He's from the Dominican Republic. He strikes out Buehler, 2 away.
Number 3, Chris Taylor.
Didn't even start playing baseball until he was 15. Harlan was a soccer player, but his friends and one of the local baseball coaches talked him into giving it a try. 2 years later, he's signing a pro baseball contract. Second time through the order. Here's Taylor.
I'll sign the pro contract, but the soccer ball's coming with me.
All right. Painting was a gift. I'm taking it with me. Another big thing that happened besides him just giving baseball a try was he went from being tiny to what he is now. He first started playing baseball when he was 15. Harlan Garcia was 5'7" and weighed 140 pounds. It's a strike 1-1. Grew 7 inches, added 25 pounds over the next 2 years, and he's added some weight since then. That growth spurt combined with him focusing on the game and his natural athleticism is quite the formula to put him on the Marlins' radar. 2-1. Two and two.
What I've noticed from his changeup, which is a really effective pitch we were talking about coming into this game, is it almost has 2 different breaks on it. Like that one right there to Chris Taylor, saw how the bite it had at the end had dropped out of it compared to the one right before that. It didn't have as much. As a hitter, you're thinking, okay, even if you recognize it, you're thinking, all right, that one didn't break as much, but I know it was an off speed, his changeup. And then you get it again, and you swing at it, and then the bottom falls out of it.
Well, Taylor walked his first time here on a 3-2. He takes on the inside corner, strike 3. Garcia's K'd 5 of the last 6. Buehler's back out there in a scoreless game. BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new Cholula Buttery Jack, part of the Buttery Jack family, only at Jack in the Box. Back here in Los Angeles, Walker Buehler delivers ball one to Cameron Maben, and away we go in the fourth. April 23rd, back in 1958. First year for the Dodgers in Los Angeles. Two of the all-time greats in the Dodger uniform reached milestones. Gil Hodges on the left of that shot hit his 300th career home run. Went on to finish with 370 in his career. And Pee Wee Reese played his 2000th game on this date. This is his final season. Entire 16-year career with the Dodgers. Buehler's fallen behind Maben, 3 balls, no strikes. Having gotten back on track last inning with a 1-2-3 frame. The pitch count has now reached 60 on a night where it won't go much past 90. 3-1. Strike two. Hit hard. That'll get through. Base hit. And a leadoff single for Cameron Maben here in the fourth.
Number 3, J.B.
Well, Dodger fans, celebrate Justin Turner's 2017 NLCS game-winning 3-run homer on Wednesday, May 9th, when the Dodgers host Arizona. Be one of the first 40,000 fans in attendance at Dodger Stadium and take home a Justin Turner walk-off home run bobblehead presented by State Farm. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Justin continuing to work his way back from the fractured wrist. J.B. Shuck. First pitch curve over the outside corner for a strike. And the Dodgers, we talked about the offense coming alive. 5.5 runs per game the last 2 weeks, among the best in baseball. But third base has still been a spot where they've struggled, no matter who's been there. Production from third baseman among the worst in baseball. All right, it's Farmer. First start for him there in about a week. Good lead at first for Maben. It's in the dirt, stopped by Grandal. Max Muncy started all the games over the weekend against Washington. Not an easy way for him to start his time with the Dodgers. He eases in, I guess, in San Diego, but then back-to-back nights facing Scherzer and Strasburg for his first 2 Dodger Stadium games. Said he wouldn't have it any other way, though. That's what you dream of. You want to play against the best. Off the end of the bat. Long way to go for Matt Kemp, but he'll get there for the first out.
Number 9, Lewis Brinson.
Mentioned that note about Buehler going to last break, Nomar. The Lexington Little League strikeout record that he has, 140 in 62 innings. I mean, that's 140 of the possible 186 outs were strikeouts for this guy.
Well, he was throwing 98 then, too. So.
Well, at the distance that he was throwing at, it probably equated to it. Walker, very smart young man. All advanced placement classes in high school. Had a GPA above 4. Apparently that's a thing now. Pitches outside. Grandal still to second. On the dot. Boy, you can do no wrong right now. Now Smani Grandal throws out Cameron Maben. The base is wiped clean.
The defense really picking up Walker Buehler so far in this game. We've seen Kike with some tremendous plays, and then your catcher with a perfect throw to get Maben at second. Staying right on that one. Way to stay with it, Austin Barnes. A lot easier to stay with it as a middle infielder when they slide head first.
You see that? Brinson, not on purpose, but just whacked Grandal in the face.
With his bat, with kind of a backswing.
You mentioned the nice play by Barnes. Catcher connection there. How many lineups you've seen that have 3 catchers in it?
Here's what you were talking about. Yeah, Joe, we were talking about that before the game. When we looked at the lineup, Dodgers have all 3 catchers in there with Farmer, Barnes, Grandal, and after that backswing, we want to make sure Grandal's okay and stays in there.
Right. It's a 4-pitch walk. 3rd walk that Buehler's issued, and the inning kept alive. We're trying to think of, you know, when the last case would be of 3 catchers all being in the lineup on the same day. And nothing immediately came to mind. At least 3 guys where their primary position at this stage of their career still is catcher. And that can be said about all 3 of these guys. Farmer not so much to begin the year, but that's just because of his spot on this specific roster. That's outside, and ball 1 on Rivera. But if he were to be in AAA to start the year like it was looking before Turner's injury, Farmer would have been the everyday catcher there. Softly hit. Farmer's at 3rd to throw Rivera out. 4 shutout innings for Walker Buehler. No score to the bottom half. Is ready to lead it off. We look back at a couple of great defensive plays on our Arco top-tier plays.
Well, the offense right now hasn't gotten going for the Dodgers, but the gloves have been there behind Walker Buehler and for Kike Hernandez. Just some spectacular and athletic plays. After those can get you really excited and giddy and say, listen, it needs to carry over to the offensive side.
Against his old team. He's originally drafted by the Astros. From the Astros to the Marlins to the Dodgers and the D. Gordon trade, which he found out that he was a part of through a direct message on Twitter from a teenager. That's ball one from Garcia. Yeah, that's how he found out he'd been traded. Nomar's giving me a look like, wait a minute, no way. There's a blogger, somebody who was trying to dig this information up and had. And he told Kike, hey, pack your bags, son.
He's probably going, wait a minute, really?
Not often do you see a right-handed hitter overshifted like this. 2-1. Starting to see it more and more.
A lot of times for me, it happened a couple of times to me in my career. And one, I was going, well, listen, it's such a big hole. I can control the bat. Let me go the other way. And I kept rolling over. And then I finally said, well, forget it. Just swing. And I got some hits. But what it did tell me was, I was like, gosh, I really have to go look my swing off. Am I really pulling off that much, or I'm pulling it because I didn't consider myself that type of hitter. I figure I can use the whole field and spray it around. So it actually made me get back in there, work, and make sure I was back using the whole field and spraying it around.
Because I know you're not going and looking at your spray charts necessarily, but the defense can kind of tell you.
Yeah, they tell you exactly that. Wow, I must be really pulling off the ball.
Ooh, that one takes off on him, and the count goes full. Dodgers still looking for their first hit against Harlan Garcia, and he's doing this to everybody. His third major league start. This now spans 14 innings. He's given up just one hit. Hernandez starting the fourth.
That ball was close. It might have been a borderline ball that it was on the outer half. Like Kike was kind of shaking his head.
Fastball driven to deep left center field. Maben's back on it. That is gone. This night so far belongs to Kike Hernandez. Dodgers 1, Marlins nothing.
Talking about the defense carrying over to the offensive side after you make unbelievable plays. And Kike, yep, you can celebrate that one.
He did it for some of his teammates, and then he saw the camera and figured he'd do it for all of you at home too. Second home run for Kike in his last 4 plate appearances. Here comes a 1-0 to Matt Kemp. He's out in front, 1-1.
Kike did a good job. We were just talking about that one pitch right before that he fouled off, was kind of shaking his head. There was kind of a ball, and also you feel some things too on your swing. Made the adjustment.
Driven to straightaway center field. Brinson's back with room on the track for out number 1. We go back to Hernandez leadoff home run with our Volkswagen replay.
That one was on the outer half, the pitch before that he fouls off, and then this one comes on the inner half and then brings in the hands nicely to bring that barrel to it. Very similar to his last home run too, where he brought the hands in nice and squared that up and drove it. That's the left field.
With one out, here's Bellinger. Takes high, ball 1. Inside ball 2. Really solid season so far for Bellinger. His sophomore campaign. Takes a strike, 2-1. It's going to be tough for him to meet the standards that he set as a rookie with the 39 home runs, National League rookie record, unanimous rookie of the year. We'll hope that this one slices to the seats, and it will. 2-2. But out of the gates hitting for a higher average than he did over the full body of work last year. Granted, it's still exceptionally early, but 291, 3 home runs, and more splendid defense at first. That was the line last year. Came up right about this time last year. Dodgers were 10-12 when he was promoted. Right now sit at 10-10. Garcia gets him swinging, 2 out.
I was talking about Kike. There are times when you take swings, you can foul off and you can make adjustments. Here's that ball in the outer half we talked about. Kike, he was a little upset with himself. 1, because that could have been ball 4. But 2, you're also going, man, why didn't I square that one up? It was up in the zone, you foul it, but you can tell yourself something to kind of make an adjustment. Maybe I felt like my front shoulder might have leaked a little bit. Maybe I felt my bat drop. And then you get a ball in the inner half, make the adjustment, and you're rewarded.
A strike on Grandal. We'll see if Grandal adjusts from his first at bat, where he was visibly and audibly frustrated, having taken strike 3. Takes it low, 1-1. Is it easier for the elite athletes to make that adjustment mid at bat, to feel something and be able to translate it?
Not just elite, it's just hitters. It's just more and more you practice, the more and more you're aware of your swing.
A missile down the left field line. It will just go foul.
And the more you're aware of your swing, the more you know what your triggers are. For example, what gets you in trouble when things are going bad, what you're doing when things are going good. You can take a swing on the ball and then feel whatever that trigger is as we see that ball just being fouled. So there are times when you're able to. One is to make the adjustments. People talk about making adjustments in this game. Okay, you make it from game to game. And you can make it from at bat to bat. But when you can make it from pitch to pitch, that means you're really in tune with how you're feeling at the plate.
Took a change, and it's 2-2. I don't know, because you hear about the very elite of the elite having that feel within an at bat, not having the time to go check the video room. Able to put this one in play on a bounce to short. A bare hand from Rivera. My goodness, what a play. But a home run from Kike Hernandez has opened the scoring. After 4 innings at Dodger Stadium, it's 1-0, and Walker Buehler back to the mound after this.
Don Mattingly was the manager of Los Angeles before Dave Roberts and this current coaching regime, but Donnie Baseball not the only connection to Los Angeles. When you think about the Miami Marlins, of course, Tim Wallach was the bench coach here, now over there with Don Mattingly, was the bench coach here from 1993 to 1996. Rob Filippo, actually 2004-2005 as a coach, and played here in 93 and 96. Rob Filippo, the former bullpen coach, is now over in South Florida as well, and then Miguel Rojas involved in the trade that involved, among others, Kike Hernandez. Tonight's man of the hour so far, Kike Hernandez, guys, putting on a show.
Sure has, for the two great defensive plays and the solo home run. Arlen Garcia takes ball one from Walker Buehler. Who has gotten back on track with a pitch count through 46 pitches over the first 2 innings. Last 2 innings just 26. Garcia slaps it foul, 1-1. He was on pace to have a hard time even getting into the 5th if he continued what he did in those first couple. One and two. Two balls and 2 strikes. Walker got kind of a nice gift on Saturday night when he found out that he was going to make the start for the Dodgers tonight. Got the night off. He strikes out Garcia for the first out of the 5th. And his 5th total tonight. So he started for Oklahoma City against New Orleans a week ago. Then they traveled to New Orleans playing the Baby Cakes. Yes, that's a real thing, the New Orleans Baby Cakes. Saturday finds out during the afternoon from Bill Hasselman that he's going to get called up, and Bill told him don't bother staying at the ballpark. Go out with your girlfriend who had just arrived in New Orleans and have a night to yourselves. So a rare mid-season night out for Walker Buehler. Miguel Rojas takes slow and in for a ball, and then they flew to Los Angeles together yesterday morning. So Walker and Ferris both with a day off. Tied at 1.
I see how you went there.
I had to.
Yeah,
right? I'm
yeah.
done.
I hear you. I'm still thinking of Baby Cakes is the name, you know.
Yeah.
And how they
Baby
came
Cakes.
up, and how they came up with that.
Is there frosting on a baby cake? Or?
I don't know.
I don't know either. On a 2-0. It's by the hands, ball 3. I hope he pitches for the Dodgers for 20 years. I hereby vow to not make more than like 4 or 5 Ferris Bueller references. 3-1.
Oh, how can you not?
Well, I didn't want to say I won't do it again because
bigger question is, you've seen it?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, don't act like.
That's
of course.
True. I've not seen every movie. You're right. I shouldn't have responded that way. Strike 2. Rojas is headed down to first, and then Marty Foster said, not so fast.
That one looked a little low, but got the call, and oftentimes, as Monty Grandal is able to get that for some of his pitchers.
Swatted to second. Barnes knocks it down. Has plenty of time. 2 away. Ferris Bueller's Day Off came out 8 years before Walker was born. If you're looking for a way to feel old on this beautiful Monday night.
And you were how old? What? 3, 4?
-1. If you're looking for a second reason, Omar. You asked for it.
Oh, I know.
Here's Real Muto. First pitch curve, banged into left. Real Muto stays hot with his second hit of the night.
Second baseman Starlin Castro.
Our booth boss, Boyd Robertson, tells us that the budget for that film, which was produced and directed by John Hughes, was $5.8 million. The box office, it raked in 70.1. He knew that off the top of his head. That's a lot.
It's a good return.
Sure is. Here's Castro. Strike one. Dropped it down to 86 on the first one. Back-to-back off-speed pitches. That one misses. It's 1-1. And with Buehler at 86 pitches now and his spot due up fourth next inning, there's action in the pen. Pedro Baez. Two and one.
Tell you what, I wonder, we talk about Yasmani Grandal able to really frame some pitches. I wonder if him pulling that away to try to kind of fake to get him doesn't get that corner there. A lot of catchers know when the ball's kind of taking you out there, that's a good one to kind of back pick.
And it's going to be a hard one to frame, so
right.
You might as well. Right? See that a lot, though, where the catcher's movements, sometimes a check swing will distract the umpire on those borderline pitches. Could be the final batter that Buehler faces tonight. Here comes his 2-2. For a toss over. 5 Ks, 2 walks, 4 hits, but all of them singles for Miami. Now a 2-2. Runner takes off on a ground ball to second that Austin Barnes scoops up. And 5 shutout innings in the first major league start for Walker Buehler. Halfway home in Los Angeles. Ball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyota's Thrill to Drive sales event is going on now. Check out amazing deals on a stylish new Corolla. Dodgers up 1-0. The night probably finished for Walker Buehler. 5 zeros put up there.
Well, it's only 4 hits. Obviously, a first big league start, not a bad job, and also had some good defense and good scouting report because 2 strikes, runner going, Usually with a right-hander who's covering second, usually your second baseman goes, but we saw Kike there. Second baseman stayed home. You know, hey, he throws 98 miles an hour, 2 strikes. May not be pulling that ball. Good job by the Dodgers.
Puig to lead off his 5th. He smacks a line drive to center. Brinson for the first out. And you know, part of the reason the Dodgers were the best defensive team in baseball a year ago is because they have really good defensive players, but they're also really good when it comes to the preparation defensively, led by Chris Woodward. Danny Lehman, a big part of that. Put their guys in the right spots.
Well, the interesting thing today, we saw some unbelievable athleticism by Kike Hernandez out there, making some plays, going far for the range, showing off his range. But not only with the scouting that they do and all the things that you mentioned from a defensive standpoint, it also, when you have pitchers who can hit their spots, that plays to the defense as well, working together. So not only do you put them in the right position, but guys hitting their spots. Where, example like today, Walker Buehler, obviously effective, but he'd go back and he'd look, listen, my command wasn't quite there. Well, when you have somebody who's not quite there, then you have to really show off the range, because when they put that ball in play, it's not necessarily where you're lined up based on where you expected to throw the ball.
Strike 2 on Barnes. Only 1 hit allowed by Harlan Garcia. It was a home run for Hernandez. That's a bullet in the second hit. Into the gap. Brinson's able to cut it off. Barnes testing his arm. He's in there with a double.
Austin Barnes thinking double right out of the box. He knows he hit that ball in the gap. And Maven got to that really quick, and that was hit hard. Not a bad idea to risk it, especially with 1 out and trying to get into scoring position, avoiding the tag.
And bringing up Farmer with a chance to drive in a run. We talked about the base running of Barnes last night. Really had a huge part in the Dodgers winning that game. Went first to third on a base hit and scored on a sacrifice fly from Corey Seager. Obviously wouldn't have scored had he not taken the extra base on Bryce Harper, mind you. A 1-0. Farmer rips one to third. It is caught after the juggle by Anderson. 2 out.
Just unlucky for Kyle Farmer. I mean, he crushes that ball. Good job by Austin Barnes. Freeze on the line drive. That's exactly what he did. And really nothing you can do. You're just frustrated that that didn't find a hole.
Muncy to pinch hit here. And Buehler's spot, so Walker's night is officially over. Strike 1. And in position to win it if the bullpen can make it hold up. The offense can tack on a little bit more. Muncy had the single in his first at-bat as a Dodger. Had a home run in his second at-bat of his first start. Right now trying to snap an 0 for 11 slide since. Ball on a strike. 1-2. Overshadowed by the lack of run support is the fact that Harlan Garcia is pitching a very good game here. Only 2 hits against him. He struck out 6, walked only 1. That's the big thing for him. He's limited the walks and has thrown just 71 pitches. Pretty good company to keep there. Once he protects, stays alive at 1-2. Kershaw to his left. He'll start Wednesday. Rich Hill's down there. So is Alex Wood and Kenley Jansen.
Even though there's lefties on both sides of you, you're picking those guys' brains.
Muncy down swinging, and that's the inning. Dodgers get a double from Barnes, but nothing to show for. Walker Buehler will watch the bullpen try to protect the 1-0 lead. Go to the 6th, and time now for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. He punched out 5 over those 5 innings.
Fastball, we talked about he likes fastball, curveball to put him away, but there was the slider, but he was still going to that 98, 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Why wouldn't you? Solid outing for Buehler, putting up some zeros, and now it's up to the bullpen to pick him up and continue the trend.
It's Ross Stripling in there first. Base in the middle third of the Marlins order. Miami out hitting the Dodgers in this game 4-2. And Hernandez with a solo home run making the difference. Brian Anderson. First pitch curve is high. Anderson 0 for 2. Former Arkansas Razorback star. Originally from Oklahoma. Got a couple of Oklahoma-born guys in this lineup. JT Realmuto, their 2-hitter, and Anderson. Nice pitch, 2-1. Anderson just 24 years old. But a break as the opening day third baseman for his rookie campaign. Even though he played most of September last year, still retained his rookie status. And even got to put on a real major league number. He was wearing a number in the 50s last year. Foul tips it 2-2. Went from starting last year in Double-A to playing in the Futures game, which happened to be at Marlins Park. Reached Triple-A in the second half, and then a surprise call up in September. Their debut at 23. Takes the ball low, and it's full.
I'm chuckling when you say real number. You know.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're in the big leagues and you got a number,
they're all real. Well, Walker's 21 looks a lot more real than, was he wearing 70, 64? Yeah. Leadoff walk. And a 1-0 game here in the 6th.
Well, Dodger fans, wishing you had a little more help waking up in the morning? Well, be the first 40,000 fans in attendance tomorrow when the Dodgers host the Marlins and receive your own It's Time for Dodger Baseball alarm clock, presented by your SoCal Honda dealers. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Leadoff man on, and Cameron Maben comes up, having reached both times tonight. The Marlins would love to get going, hitting just 114 in his last 15 games. Shows bunt, takes a strike. Marlins would be happy to get anybody going at this point. They lost 4 in a row, 7 of 8. Only the Reds, who have fired their manager, have a worse record in the NL. 5-16 coming in.
Ooh, good pitch. Now he laid off for that, but that was a really good pitch. Doesn't get the call, but makes it also such a good pitch. If he ends up swinging at that ball, that's really tough to not only square up but hit in the air. Possibly get a ground ball if looking for a double play.
It's this one by him, and it's 1-2. Nothing game in the 6th, and Stripling to Maben with a 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Did he offer? No swing, and the count evens. Cameron Maben, who we talk about Walker Buehler being a highly touted guy, much anticipated debut tonight. Many years ago, Maben was that guy. Debuted as the youngest player in the American League. He was just 20, just barely turned 20. A pop-up down the line. Barnes is over. Puig comes on, still coming and won't get there.
Looked like there might have been just a little hesitation from Yasiel right before that, right before he came into the picture. We might have thought that right there. See, he takes that glance at Austin Barnes and then puts it into the other gear, just thinking that that Austin might have had a better chance than he did.
Stripling to Maben with a 2-2 pitch. Off of the hands to center. Chris Taylor's there. 1 out.
Right fielder J.B. Shuck.
So now J.B. Shuck. Can't lay off first pitch breaking ball. 0-1.
Good job by Yasmani Grandal. Knocking that ball down, keeping it in front. You saw Yasmani knock a few down with Walker Buehler on the hill, breaking balls in the dirt.
We talked about Grandal, how the way he approaches a start like this tonight when he's guiding a guy in his first major league start, how he approaches it much differently now than he would have at the start of his career. And he said then the message was kind of like, hey, we're in this together. Let's try to figure it out. But now him being the veteran that he is, he tried to guide Walker, give him some confidence, say, I've got you, follow me. No balls, 2 strikes.
Well, we were talking about that first inning where Buehler was throwing some breaking balls, some curveballs in the dirt. He was knocking them down. And then he even asked for one when the bases were loaded, when he had a man at third base. And Buehler probably would usually shake off there going, I don't know, and threw that breaking ball that needed, and he was there for him.
Walker very confident. So sometimes it may be against nature to just trust somebody, but he certainly did seem to trust Grandal tonight. In the dirt, 1-2. Stripling to Shuck with a 1-2 and a curve grounded softly to Bellinger at first. They get the lead runner at second, and that's all. Shuck aboard with 2 out.
Center fielder Lewis Brinson.
And up comes Lewis Brinson, who is in a lot of ways a snapshot of the modern player, at least what he's doing lately. Over the weekend in Milwaukee, he was 3 for 12 with 3 home runs and 8 strikeouts. Makes you shudder, doesn't it, Omar?
Yeah. That's, if you're saying a snapshot of the modern player, I don't know if that's a good thing.
Curve, strike 1. And he also plays great defense, and that's part of the snapshot of the modern player too, what teams look for.
Walking back to the dugout after an at-bat.
It's not as much shame as there used to be.
It's never okay.
I don't know if you saw the note that was floating around today, but this month of April is on pace to be the first month in Major League history with more strikeouts than hits.
That's embarrassing. The mentality really has to change.
Brinson among the leaders in all of baseball and how often he strikes out. He's done it once tonight. He's also walked. He's done it again. Couldn't lay off a high fastball. And Ross Stripling goes 1-2-3 after the leadoff walk to the bottom of the 6th, 1-0. on, and we take a look at our Coors Banquet timeless moment. A year ago against these Marlins, Cody Bellinger with the first Dodgers cycle in 8 years. And you were there for it, Omar.
Yes, we were. We were talking about there was a nice single, and then he gets the home run, the belly bomb, and we're thinking maybe he might have a couple more home runs that game, but no. It's this one, this nice little double, and then when we came up again, we're like, could it happen? Like, no. Oh, yep, there it is. Right there, all the way to third.
On the first pitch of that at-bat. First cycle since Orlando Hudson's in 09. Wes Parker had the first one in LA in 1970. Only the 10th in franchise history, going back to 1890. It's a strike on Chris Taylor.
I mean, for the Dodgers right now, we're talking about Walker Buehler, his day. It was obviously a big day, big story here, but third time through the lineup for these Dodgers facing Garcia.
Taylor hits a high fly ball to center field, but just got under it, and Brinson will catch it. It's the first time that Garcia's pitched into the 7th, and this is a guy who we've talked about. Has been erratic with the control. He's got live stuff, but has had a hard time locating it in prior starts. Not tonight, though. He's been locked in with a location.
Really just one base on balls, and that was to Chris Taylor in the very first batter, and that was really close. It was a borderline pitch, borderline take. Outside of that, he's been really effective.
Here's Hernandez, who took him deep for the lone run of the game. I said into the 7th. He's got enough left in the tank to get there. Obviously not yet there. Two balls, no strikes. First start for Kike in a week. He takes full advantage with a home run in the 4th. On a 2-0. Takes a change up at the bottom of the zone for a strike.
Hey, you have a guy who hit your fastball out, the 3-2 pitch in the inner half, and you get him 2-0. You're going to come back with a changeup, especially when it's a ground ball pitch for you.
Another one, 2-2. You know, it's interesting, Omar, looking at the shift that they have on him, and we talked about this last time, but he's not an overwhelmingly high pull hitter. Most of his hits go to the center of the field. A third of his hits go to the pull field. So it seems like that defense, just based off of those very basic numbers, are overthinking it. But as you've talked about, it also plays into how they plan to pitch him.
And sometimes some of those numbers are, okay, pull on the ground,
right,
opposite in the air. So it's really straight up in the outfield. The outfield's not playing him to pull. It's basically straight up out there.
Shoots one against it. Base hit into right center.
Well, for the Dodgers, it's their third hit of the game. And all 3 hits so far have come with 2 strikes on the batter. So even there, that would go against you. In the air to the right.
Right. One on, one out. Matt Kemp. 0 for 2 tonight, but has twice hit it deep, both times to center. Been one of the best hitters against left-handed pitching in baseball so far this year. To the back door for a strike. Buehler making his major league debut as far as starts tonight as a 23-year-old. Guy at the plate right now, Matt Kemp, made his major league debut as a 21-year-old with the Dodgers. Spent 9 years here. That is a base hit to left. Cracks one to left field, first and second, one out.
Well, Matt Kemp, first 2 at-bats, was able to drive the ball to center field, just had some bad aim and wasn't able to really get everything behind it that he wanted. That one hit it hard and finds a hole for the Dodgers. It's going to be their 3rd at-bat this game. They haven't had too many opportunities with a runner in scoring position.
Mound visit coming here with Bellinger coming up. The first time tonight they've had multiple runners on base in an inning against Garcia. Action down in that bullpen. Tyron Guerrero. Bullpen has not been good, and they've worked as much as anybody in baseball so far with the short starts that Miami's gotten pretty consistently. Really none of the pitching has been very good. Has a team of 558 earned run average. That's 2nd worst in baseball. Mentioned the injuries Don Mattingly's dealing with in the lineup. He's also got 2 of the most veteran starters yet to pitch. Dan Straley, Wei-Yin Chen are both rehabbing their way back from injuries. First and second with 1 out. Bellinger trying to give the Dodgers some insurance. Strike 1. Little bit outside for a ball. Ball 2. Hank Aaron, Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth. Those guys never hit for the cycle like Bellinger did as a rookie last year. Gets under this one off the end of the bat to the left for Cameron Maybin. 2 out.
Some big at-bats right there for the Dodgers. See if Yasmani Grandal can pick up Cody Bellinger. And for the obvious reason, I mean, we're talking about the struggles of this Marlin offense, this Marlin team, but you know, I know it's a 1-0 lead, but it also can relieve the pressure for Dave Roberts. You don't know all the guys that he may have available out there in the bullpen, where you've had a few guys who have thrown back-to-back days, so he may not have the whole bullpen available to him. So he's trying to say, listen, little insurance runs here can actually make some of that decision making easier for him.
Strike 1 on Grandal. Yeah, a lot of the top relievers used consistently through the weekend. Kenley Jansen in the dugout right now. There's a chance with his usage he could be down. Tony Cingrani has pitched back-to-back games. Finally getting into that stage of the schedule where there's not as many off days and getting these back-to-backs. And you'll have nights like that where there are some questions in the back end. Dave Roberts hopes they get that big lead like you're saying, and it's not as big of a decision. And 0-1 to Grandal. Fouled it back, 0-2. Season high is 92 pitches for Harlan Garcia. Here comes his 90th. And with his spot due up second in the 7th, this is likely going to be it. Garcia's 0-2. A little bit in with the fastball. It's 1-2. Two and two. Swatted to center. Brinson is there, and the Dodgers ran 2 here in the 6th inning. A little too close for comfort in this one as it goes to the 7th. 1-0. Take a look at the Dodgers calendar presented by Nissan. 2 more in this series. 4:30 on Wednesday. Make note of that one. Kind of a unique start time. Off day Thursday while the team travels to San Francisco and opens up the longest road trip of the season. 11 games. And it'll include a trip to Mexico. Arden Garcia's finished. Gives up just the Kike Hernandez home run through 6 innings.
Hitter, 18.
So the Dodgers into that Marlins bullpen, which has not been very good this year. And Don Mattingly starts to go to his bench. Tomas Telis to start this inning. And he's got Justin Bohr, his most formidable power threat, but coming off of the bench today. He's on deck. Stripling back to work. Strike 1. Quickly 0-2. These teams will play all their games against one another in a 1-month span. Dodgers go to Miami for 3 in mid-May. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dodgers won 6 of 7 against the Marlins last year. There's a Marlins team that finished in 2nd, way back of the Nationals, but still the best of the bunch in that division last year. Down the left field line, Matt Kemp. One gone. And now here comes Bohr.
Pinch hitter number 41, Justin Bohr.
Hit in the home run derby last year. During the regular season at 25 home runs. And Don Mattingly using him here. 4 home runs this season. Kind of guy that just looks scary in a 1-0 game, even before you look at the stat line. First pitch curve, strike one.
Well, some of the stats that really stick out to me for Justin Bohr so far this season, and now it's early, is that he's just 1 for 12 on fastballs on the inside part of plate.
Going outside here. You miss it.
And it's just interesting because you're going, you want to stay away from there because the stats telling you, well, then you got to pound him inside. Wants to get his arms extended. You know, he just has 1 hit from there. But you're going, wait, have you seen how big he is? You want to throw to his power?
Right. You sure you want to go in there?
Right.
I know what the numbers say. 1 and 2. It's like you can read the scouting report and say, okay, we're going to pound him in. And then he gets up there and you're like, whoa, yeah. Maybe we'll stay away.
Was that a typo?
A 1-2 pitch. And he chases a fastball up. What were the numbers on fastballs at his eyebrows?
I don't know. Maybe that's what they know. Maybe that's also they're looking for up and in. Maybe that's the spot when they say in, get him swinging. But right, going, what's the scouting report say? Because I'm reading those arms when he steps up to the plate.
The Stripling's retired 5 in a row since he walked Brian Anderson to start his relief outing. Top of the order with Miguel Rojas. And Stripling continues to pitch backwards, gets a strike with a curve. Rojas doesn't inspire the same kind of fear that Bohr does, but he is inspiring twice as much fear as he ever has. 2 home runs. A career high. 1 home run each of his first 4 seasons. Grounded foul, 0-2. Look out in that dugout. Rich Hill. They gave him a fresh haircut. Travis Smith, one of the strength coaches, I think was pretty lucky to get out of the way of that one too. A 1-2-3 7th for Ross Stripling. Couple of scoreless innings for him in relief of Buehler. Stretch time in a 1-0 game. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Carl's Jr. and by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Back at Dodger Stadium, Miguel Rojas has moved to short, and Justin Bour, after pinch hitting, stays in and plays first. Into the bullpen the Marlins go. Tyron Guerrero comes on for his 12th appearance, and that earned run average, while not pretty, is almost identical to what the team's ERA is through the first month.
Well, this is one of the things that the Dodgers, their game plan against Jarlin Garcia, they were really hoping that he wouldn't have the command that he's been lacking earlier in the season. I may say earlier because it seemed like he had it today, but they were hoping to say maybe they can get him out, get a high pitch count to possibly get to the bullpen and take advantage of that bullpen. So they definitely need some runs now.
Long, lanky right-hander out of Colombia. Stands at 6 feet 8 inches. Puig pokes the first pitch foul. 97, and then when you think about what kind of extension you're going to get when you're 6'8", that thing's on you fast. '99, 1-1.
That's interesting because the Marlins bullpen this year, as far as average velocity as a whole, is around like 92, 93 miles an hour. And then you're factoring what he's bringing. I mean, because usually the Marlins in the past have always had guys like him coming out of their bullpen.
There are a couple of other good arms in the bullpen. For the rest of the staff, you got to be throwing some pretty soft stuff up there to bring the average down to
92.
Right.
Right. No, that's. I remember there were times later in my career coming in, it felt like everybody was throwing 96, 97 coming out of their bullpen. It just felt like that when my bat was so much slower.
They can make you feel that way with that kind of velocity, though. Puig strikes out after seeing those fastballs in the upper 90s. That's a slider at 85, one away.
Well, fans, show your mom how special she is. Take her to Dodger Stadium on Sunday, May 13th, when the Dodgers close out the series with the Reds. The first 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a Mother's Day cosmetic bag, compliments of Cedar Sinai. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Barnes with one out. Fastball at 99 just misses away. Guerrero, a former Padre, in fact, pitched in one game at the major league level with San Diego, 2016. And then he was dealt to the Marlins in the Andrew Kachner trade 2 years back. Bounced back and forth between AA and AAA since then. And in their system, that means back and forth between the baby cakes and the jumbo shrimp. 2-0. Pops the mitt. Strike one. You got a preference between the two? Baby cakes, jumbo shrimp? Well, the baby cakes are the dessert for the.
Well, the baby cakes is something from Mardi Gras. People were kind of tweeting at me, which I appreciate, and giving me kind of the lowdown on how that name came about.
When in Rome. Makes sense.
So they were talking about there's king cakes out there, and then when somebody gets a baby cake, they were really the person who's supposed to like start the party for like Mardi Gras. So there's a whole story behind it. So that hence the baby cake. So obviously is something part of New Orleans. So now I understand the name.
But
I do like some jumbo shrimp.
Jacksonville jumbo shrimp. Boy, that thing just barely misses at 100. JT Chagua warming. Used to be the Jacksonville Suns, former Dodger affiliate. That's a left turn. Suns to jumbo shrimp.
Well, New Orleans Guns used to be the Zephyrs.
That's right.
And then they actually had the fans kind of submit names. And they had like over 3,000 submissions for names, and they ended up narrowing it down to the Baby Cakes. So, really fan involvement when it came to renaming that organization.
I'll always be partial to my Montgomery Biscuits. It's when I knew I had made it, Nomar, when I was broadcasting for a team whose mascot was a biscuit with eyes and butter for a tongue. Ball 4, Barnes with a 1-out walk. That was a name the team contest as well.
Biscuits. How good were the biscuits there?
They were good.
Yeah.
They used to throw them out between innings.
How do you not?
Yeah, right. Standing on, well, they had a biscuit gun. Like, you know, you have T-shirt guns.
Right,
They had
right.
a biscuit gun. Here's Farmer with 1 out.
Were they buttered coming out of the gun? You know? Or was that on the?
They were very buttery biscuits. I don't think that they were pre-buttered.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't think they needed them. Strike 1.
Well, Guerrero, you look at his pitch chart and you're going, okay, guy throws, averages 97 miles an hour in the fastball, going up to 100, and for 76% of the time, it's the fastball. And then it's the slider. We saw the slider to Yasiel. There it is.
Hard to have too good of a swing on that.
Well, and you mentioned, I mean, how tall he is, the extension that he gets throwing that hard, and how much quicker it seems because it seems to get on you so quickly. The Dodgers are going, listen, we had a guy throwing 100 miles an hour today, too. He started for us.
Right. Barnes at first with 1 out, and Guerrero to Farmer with an 0-2. Fastball paints the corner at 100. This is something.
That's 12 of his 14 pitches so far today have been that fastball, and when you can have that type of location and throw it triple digits, tough to hit.
Jock Peterson pinch hitting with 2 out. That's why it's surprising to look at the line and see that he's given up 12 hits in 11 innings coming in. Part that's not surprising, 21 strikeouts in 11 innings. Blows it by Peterson. Power against power for strike 1. Slider for strike 2.
From the fastball to 100 and the slider for a strike. Goes from 100 to 84 for the slider.
Somehow has a 5.73 ERA. 1-2. Got it by him at 100. Man. Tyrone Guerrero, really impressive stuff. 1-0 after 7. Sportsnet Dodgers, presented by your Southern California Ford dealers.
All right, thanks, Joe. The Dodgers 6 outs away from their 5th shutout of the season and from moving a game over 500 for the first time this year. After the game, Ned and Jerry will break down Walker Buehler's first Major League start and a great night for Kike Hernandez.
You guys really work hard on those hits, you analysts.
Oh, we have to practice.
Yeah.
You know, we definitely practice. Before we actually are going on, we go out there, we look at our marker, and we ask, as we're, you know, how do we look? Is this the right stance? Is this the right look? It's a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah.
Just so you know.
JT Chargois on to face the heart of the order here. JT Realmuto looks at strike one. You guys always hit your marks beautifully.
And you know, there's also some head turns involved. And those are key. The timing
of the head turns.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of thought that goes into the head turns. Even you know, looking at John and when to turn to John and to each other. Yeah,
it's a science. 1-1. Important spot for Chargois here. Facing Realmuto, Castro, and Anderson. Realmuto, 2 of the 4 Marlins hits tonight. A couple of ringing singles. And this one hits him. Leadoff man aboard for Miami in the 8th.
Realmuto has been the best hitter for the Marlins, and so far 2 hits today, really swinging the bat well and finding any way to get on. You see that he was kind of moving back from that, but he kind of stuck that arm out a little bit to try to get hit there.
So runner at first, nobody out, and Castro comes up, and it doesn't look like Kenley Jansen's going to be available tonight. 8th inning, still in the Dodger dugout. Adam Liberatore. Dave Roberts wants to get some higher leverage opportunities. Looks like he's going to get one eventually here. A ball on Castro. Since Castro debuted 9 seasons ago, only 6 players have more hits. Bouncing ball, sharply hit the short. Hernandez feeding Barnes, who throws high and into the dugout. So the Marlins dodge a bullet there and get a runner into scoring position.
Kike Hernandez did a great job. It was a great feed to Austin Barnes. See his reaction. Austin Barnes obviously upset with himself. It's one of those where in the past you'd be more concerned than you are now, because as he's throwing in, he's kind of behind the bag. Your back is really to the runner coming into second base. And nowadays, you know that they can't really take you out. Even though it's still in the back of your mind, you still feel like you're, you know, at risk there, because you're just in a total blind spot there.
Especially when you're only playing there once a month or so. Ryan Anderson, the cleanup man, takes a strike with a tying run at second and 1 out in the 8th. Austin said taking ground balls there for a guy who grew up an infielder is pretty much like riding a bike, but I can't imagine plays like that are.
No, because it's not like you're practicing the ball behind you that way.
Right. Smacked on the ground into center, a base hit. Castro headed for the plate. He'll score, and this game is tied at 1. The throwing error from Barnes comes back to bite the Dodgers. And we're back at square one in the 8th inning.
Field number 1, Cameron Maven.
And you feel this as an infielder as well when you make that mistake and you know it costs you for that run. He just took that right back up the middle. Chargois, you just see his reaction. That's one where in this game you battle with yourself and you're going, listen, let's not make it snowball. I got to get the next one. And then when you have an opportunity, even if coming up at the plate, you've got to remind yourself not to press too at those moments.
Ball one on Maben. Inning started with Chagua hitting Real Muto. Castro winds up at second on what should have been a double play ball. The 1-0 runner takes off, pitches low. The throw from Grandal not in time. Now the go-ahead run is in scoring position.
Good jump by Anderson. Not an easy throw. Not an easy pitch to throw on by Grandal, as he had his hand going into the batter and then having to bring it back to make a good throw.
Strike one. Chagua to Maben with the next one after a look at Anderson. The run's well. Best arm for the Dodgers in the outfield right now is in right and Puig. You've got Peterson in left and Taylor in center. This, by the way, will count as one of the 6 visits for the Dodgers. On a 2-1. Rides in, ball 3. I don't seem to recall, now that I'm thinking of it, the visit remaining sign getting below maybe 3 in a game this year. It's their first one they've used tonight, so it sits at 5 remaining. That's a walk, and they're at first and second with 1 out.
This is the reason we were talking about the opportunities the Dodgers had with runners in scoring position a couple of innings ago, how big those insurance runs were. Also talked about for Dave Roberts to make those decisions from the bullpen when he has that leeway.
Now he makes the decision to go to Adam Liberatore with runners at first and second and 1 out. The Marlins have tied this game in the 8th.
Fans, Friday on an all-new Backstage Dodgers. Puig plays host to LA Laker Kyle Kuzma, and Kuzma puts his baseball skills to the test. Plus, Matt Kemp pays homage to an icon on Jackie Robinson Day. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers presented by Cadillac. Friday after the postgame on Sportsnet LA.
8th inning here at Dodger Stadium, and Adam Liberatore comes on with runners at first and second, and J.B. Shuck at the plate. Third game for Liberatore since his call up early last week. Hard hit ground ball to first. Bellinger gets the out at second, and that's all. So at the corners with 2 away.
Don't know if they were going to be able to. This would have been a tough double play, especially with Liberatore covering first, and Kike would have to try to make a perfect throw on the run. Really hard as a middle infielder when you know there's a man going to third base and overthrow scores them, and unless it's a perfect throw to you and you actually can see them and you know you can make that throw, you let it go. Otherwise you hold on just like he did.
Especially with the throwaway from your middle infield partner in the back of your mind very recently, leading to the first run. Go ahead run 90 feet away, and with 2 out, it's Lewis Brinson. 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. Liberatore lets it fly, and Brinson takes inside ball 1. At the knees, 1-1. A big spot here for the rookie. Top prospect in this system. Only 23 years old. Playing for his hometown team. The team that he grew up just outside of Miami, dreaming of one day playing for. Waiting on a 1-1 pitch from Adam Liberatore. Off the end of the bat, down the line towards the pole, and foul. And it's 1-2. Brinson 3 home runs this season. They all came over the weekend in Milwaukee. Former first-round pick for the Texas Rangers, and then he's been the centerpiece of 2 huge deals. Jonathan Lucroy to the Brewers. And then this is the return for Christian Yelich. And a big spot for the Marlins in the 8th. Liberatore's 1-2. On the ground to second, Austin Barnes scoops it up and just gets him at first. Brinson wants him to take a look, and they will go to the phone and just double check that this call is right. Don Mattingly saying, hold on, we'll give it one glance. He's out. But the Marlins do tie this game, taking advantage of the defensive misplay to the bottom of the 8th, 1-1. for tomorrow brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Dylan Peters goes for the Marlins, and Kenta Maeda countering for the Dodgers. That is tomorrow at 7:10, and then the finale on Wednesday, 4:35 first pitch. Trevor Richards, Clayton Kershaw. This one could go either way as Kyle Bearclaw comes in, tied at 1, bottom of the 8th inning. And yes, that is pronounced Bearclaw.
For Kyle Bearclaw, so far he's had a strikeout in 8 of his 9 games this season. 6 of those 9 he's had multiple strikeouts, and right-handers are hitting just 111.
Top of the order, Chris Taylor takes a first pitch strike. Really 2 key moments in this game. Kike Hernandez with a solo home run in the 4th. And then in the top of this inning, the throwing error from Austin Barnes, allowing Starlin Castro to move into scoring position and score on the next batter's base hit. No balls, 2 strikes. The base hit came from Brian Anderson. So Walker Buehler tonight will get a no decision after his 5 shutout innings. Scott Alexander. Again, it looks pretty clear like Kenley Jansen will not pitch tonight. Last check as of the top of this inning, he was still in the Dodger dugout, and glancing down there, still is. Taylor lays off a slider, and it's 1-2. Cingrani, like Jansen, pitched back-to-back games. Good chance you won't see him either. So Dave Roberts' options somewhat limited down there. Very limited, really. Those are the top 2 bullpen arms at this point. A 1-2 from Bearclaw to Taylor. Fastball taken high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's some very calm takes from Chris Taylor tonight. Stays alive. It's still 2-2. Corey Seager available to Dave Roberts, and he's got a batting helmet. Hernandez on deck. They plug Seager in there. That'd be in the pitcher's spot. On a 2-2. That's belted down the left field line, and a base hit into the corner. And a tie game in the 8th. Chris Taylor leads off with a double.
That's the way to come back right after the other team ties the game. Get a leadoff double. CT3 staying on that ball, driving it left field. The Dodgers so far 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position in this game. And now the key is getting that pitch that you can handle and go to the right side and just try to move them over.
Hernandez has accounted for the lone run tonight with his 3rd home run of this season. Also played some spectacular defense at short. All the different things that a player can be called upon to do over the course of a game. That throw trickles away, but not far enough for Taylor to get bad intentions.
Try to go with the wheel play, where the back pick, to see if they can get Chris Taylor. Let's see if they still go with the wheel. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. Kike can handle the bat, bring it back, and try to see if he can hit back up the middle. Well, they don't. They stay.
He lays the bunt down perfectly. Won't be an easy play. In fact, will be no play. Doing it all tonight.
That was perfectly bunted there. You see Justin Bohr just coming down on him. You know you got to go down the third base line. Gets the angle early, but deadens the ball perfectly. What a great feeling as a hitter when you're able to execute. Not only you're going, I executed for the team, picked them up, did my job, and still get a base knock out of it too. Yes.
And now Dave Roberts reaches into his hand, plays his Corey Seager card. And a tie game in the 8th. Men at the corners and nobody out.
And the difference between left-handed hitters this year and right-handers versus Bear Claw. 111 for right-handers, 231 for left-handers.
First pitch bounces in there, and a big backhand from Real Muto.
Tell you. I think Real Muto is kind of lucky right here. You got a man on third base to go ahead and run 90 feet away and not thinking about getting his body in front of that. Just backhands it.
He's a high school shortstop. Acting like it. Here comes a 1-0. A strike, 1-1. Seager given the night out of the starting lineup, but a big spot here off of the bench. The 1-1. Perfectly placed, strike 2.
I was talking the other night where the Dodgers over the past week had a couple of times where they've had a man on third base and nobody out and unable to get them across the plate. Where you're approaching this one is you should also already know to have kind of from the first where you're able to shorten up and know you can get the job done and get that ball in the air.
Now the 1-2 and Seager lays off. Stopped this time by the chest protector of Real Muto, and it's 2-2.
He didn't backhand that one.
No, he didn't. He went down like a catcher. Seager and the Dodgers trying to get Austin Barnes off of the hook, the bullpen off of the hook after the top of the 8th inning run. A 2-2 outside for ball 3. Bellinger due next. Corey Seager fouls it back and will do it again.
That was the pitch. That was the pitch that you know you could handle and get it in the air, get it to the outfield. Wanting the ball in the outer half, it was up. But you want that ball up to get it in the air and just missed it.
Does he get another opportunity that good? Another 3-2. Got him swinging with a breaking ball. You're right, that was the one.
Looks like a strike. Looks like coming out of the hand, and also the same trajectory as that fastball that you just missed, that prior pitch. And you're trying to protect, you're trying to get something, put it in play, and you can't. And same, so right here, the Dodgers, and I was talking about how you have to shorten up, have almost like a 2-strike approach to be able to handle the bat and get it in the air. Same thing here. You want to give yourself at least 6 chances to try to get the job done. You don't need a ball hit out of the ballpark here. You just need, especially with his power, Bellinger, it's like I would love to see kind of a 2-strike approach just to get it out there, knock that run in.
Yeah, his natural swing plane is to elevate the ball. With 1 out, he tries to lay off the first pitch and does, just barely. 1 ball, no strikes.
That was close. That's what happens when you're strong.
Taylor started this inning with a double.
I'll tell you right now, the Marlins, they're probably the middle infielders. This is kind of that in-between depth. You either want to be in and out, but this is where if they can play, if they get a hard enough ball, they'll try to turn it.
Grounded foul, 1-1. I think Bellinger has going for him as he's way faster than your average first baseman. In fact, the fastest first baseman in the game right now. Go-ahead run, 90 feet away. And on a 1-1 pitch, Cody Bellinger hooks it foul, strike 2.
That looked like one of those swings where he was just trying to almost flick it out there. No problem, like his lower half was kind of coming out a little bit too soon. Watch the lower half kind of coming out, and he just kind of flicked it.
Fairclaw hunting a strikeout here. Already got Seager. The 1-2. In the dirt, Real Muto getting his money's worth back there. 2-2. Reigning Rookie of the Year. Rips one to right field. That is caught by Shuck, but here comes Taylor, and Cody Bellinger's put the Dodgers back in front. Well executed stuff by the Dodgers to take a 2-1 lead.
That's exactly what we're talking about right there. Cody Bellinger looked like he was actually one of the guys earlier in this week where he had an opportunity man on third base with nobody out and took a couple of big swings and then was unable to knock someone in. That one we noticed, even those last 2 swings where they were like that 2-strike approach, shorten up, just get it in the air. There he hits actually a line drive, gets a breaking ball up. Does a great job getting it in the air. Nice RBI.
11-game hitting streak on the line here for Grandal. He takes ball 1. So Taylor doubles to start it. Hernandez gets him to third with what turns into a bunt single. Josh Fields, it appears, will handle the 9th. And then after the Seager strikeout, Bellinger with 2 strikes, able to elevate the ball to right field and bring Taylor home. But no Kenley Jansen. Having thrown back-to-back days, Josh Fields will try to lock it down with the bottom part of the order due up. Two up. That's in there for a strike. Well, the headline coming into the night was Walker Buehler's first major league start. And having thrown 5 shutout innings, he'll have part of the lead tomorrow, but Kike Hernandez is going to be involved in that too. Pop flying to short center field. Miguel Rojas is there. And that's that. But the Dodgers break the 1-1 tie. Josh Fields coming on. It's bottom of the order, but that'll include Justin Bour in a 1-run game. Hernandez slides over to second. And Josh Fields, who picked up 2 saves a year ago, comes on for his first opportunity at 1 this year.
Well, this is everybody trying to pick up Kenley. You know how important Kenley is to your ball club. He's got a couple of days in a row, got the day off today. Hoping there's a couple of guys I think that Dave Roberts couldn't go to. Giving Kenley the day. Now Josh Fields, pick it up from him.
And while it is the bottom of the order, it's not going to be simple. This is Derek Dietrich, who is their typically a starter in the lineup in their corner outfield spot or one of the infield spots, but he's going to bat here as a pinch hitter to lead off the 9th. He's got big time pop, and then it'll be Bohr, who's in the 9 spot, before turning around to the top of the order. So Josh Fields going to have to earn it. His first one to Dietrich. Way high, ball 1. So limited time in the majors as a closer, but that's how Josh Fields made his name in college at Georgia. National Stopper of the Year. SEC Pitcher of the Year coming out of the bullpen. And that was a first-round pick based off of that. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Got that low heart rate you like from a closer. Doesn't allow himself to get too amped up. A strike, 2-1.
I'm thinking about the hitter as Dietrich. Get 2-0 on a guy coming in 9th inning, you know you're down by 1. And you know the book, you got to take 2. He throws a strike, and then he throws one right down the middle.
Ball 3. Now the Marlins have had the leadoff man on 2 of the 3 innings against the Dodger bullpen, and knocking on the door of doing that again. Got their lone run last inning against JT Chargois. Dietrich fouls it off, and it's full.
You can't give any free passes right here. You just have to go right at him, especially when you have a guy on deck that you know from one swing can really hit the ball a long way.
The payoff. Little jam shot. Seager with a backhand. Tough throw. In time. What a night defensively at shortstop. First Hernandez and now Seager.
Not an easy play, especially just coming into the game and the angle that you're trying to come after that ball. That was one of those where you know it's hit soft and you're going, do I have enough time to get my body around it to maybe scoop it on the inside part near my left leg, or do I have to just go at it as hard as I can on the backhand and still get my momentum to throw across his body? And that's exactly what he did. Made a great play.
He does it cold off of the bench. 1 away for Bohr. Ross Stripling struck out his first time tonight, pinch hitting in the 7th. However, the most powerful player on this roster. Swings and misses, strike 1. We saw him strike out on a fastball that was face high, and here they get strike 1 and a curveball in the dirt. Broken his bat. 0-2. E10.
We won't talk about it too much.
No, we'll leave it right there. We won't even replay it. Dodgers looking for their 7th win out of their last 8 games. 3 of 4 on this homestand if they can get it. A pop fly. Fields points it out. Who wants it? Nobody calling yet. Bellinger comes in to catch it, and the Marlins down to their final out.
Good job by Cody Bellinger taking charge. That was a sky-high pop-up. See Fields pointing at it. Farmer was in the air. I'll tell you what, though. Yasmani Grandal needs to do a better job. Let me show you what he did. Look at where he throws this mask. You can't just throw it right there because that's in a danger spot. You really have to, if you know you're going, you got to get rid of that a lot farther. You really got to check that in case somebody lands on that.
So it's up to Miguel Rojas. Field starts him with a breaking ball in the dirt, 1-0.
And we were just talking about how he had to attack Dietrich, right? Because you had Bohr on deck. Obviously, a guy with power can hit out, and you put this game ahead. Well, then you have the best hitter right now on deck in Real Muto. So here's another guy with Rojas. You really got to attack because you don't want to get this guy to the plate if you can avoid it.
Floated to left field. That is down for a base hit, and he will have to face JT Realmuto as Rojas snaps an 0 for 17 slide.
Number 11, JT Realmuto.
Well, he made a good pitch. That ball wasn't hit really hard, jammed him. He was able to just muscle it out there. Might have broken a bat. Went down to champion, but he's on base.
Broken a couple of bats in this inning. Josh Fields still an out away. The Marlins with a tying run on base. The go-ahead run at the plate. And Realmuto's numbers in just a week in the majors so far this year after starting the year on the DL. Very impressive. Swings at the first pitch and pops it up. The drama only lasted for a heartbeat on Realmuto. Taylor puts it away, and the Dodgers take a pitcher's duel in the series opener by a final score of 2-1.
Well, Walker Buehler's debut as a starter in a Dodger uniform. Pitches scoreless innings at the bullpen, and then clutch hitting. It was a great job, especially in that 8th inning, for the Dodgers to come back and get that 1 run.
Play of the game brought to you by Lexus. Player of the game, Kike Hernandez. Solo home run with some great defense. 2 tremendous defensive plays, almost instant replays of one another. And 2 of the first 3 innings of the game. Broke the scoreless tie with a solo shot in the 4th inning. And he even bunted for a hit, showing the full array of his skills tonight. That bunt came in the 8th inning to move what would be the winning run up to third base, scoring on Cody Bellinger's sacrifice fly. 2-1 the final for Nomar Garciaparra, Alana Rizzo, and the rest of our crew. Joe Davis saying so long from Dodger Stadium. Game 2 of the series is tomorrow, 7 o'clock right here on Sportsnet LA, as the Dodgers will go for their 8th win out of their last 9. For now, stay tuned. Access Sportsnet Dodgers begins now.